Yo, what's up, guys? Joker bringing you my first video for Palworld. In this video, I wanted to go ahead and go over some pals that are extremely helpful in the early game and will help you progress into that mid game significantly faster. These are going to all be pals under level 20. In my opinion, they're a pseudo requirement to get anything done relatively efficiently. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at them. Coming in at number one is going to be Cativa, right? The little guy that you see scattered all over the starting zone. Look, there's one there, there's one there. If I go ahead and continue to look, I'd probably see another few. If I glided down, I'd probably see more, but I just caught a few, so that's probably why the spawn's a little wonky with some of this other junk. But yeah, these guys are everywhere, and this is pretty much where you start the game, right? So all you have to do is run around, and I would suggest getting maybe three, four of them just because of how helpful they are, right? So let's take a look at what they do. Not only do they give you a passive plus 50 carry weight per Cativa in your roster, it is going to go ahead and do pretty much everything else for you, right? It's going to go ahead and help you automate crafting. It's going to gather food. It's going to mine for you. And then it is going to transport items for you. So these are the main little engine for starting up any kind of automation just because they do so much, right? You can have them in your inventory just for a quick plus 50 carry weight, which is insanely strong early on. Shit, it's even insanely strong right now. I have a ton of levels in weight, and the plus 50 is still putting me at 800, which is still extremely helpful. That's literally the same as a level. And then as you can see over here, they're harvesting my wheat for me. Obviously, it's a low level mob harvesting a higher level crop, so they do it a little bit slower. But if I was having them harvest berries, they would be doing that significantly faster. And all you have to do is have a chest down or a food chest down, and they'll go ahead, they'll start smashing. See? They'll start smashing rocks. They'll start gathering food. They'll automate crafting for you. They're just so good. And I feel like they're overlooked because they are the PAL that is everywhere in the starting zone. And even if you look at its PAL deck entry, it's essentially calling it a little bitch, right? But no, this thing is insanely strong. Anyone starting out, I would suggest you capture at least, like I said, three or four of these and just have them working on your base or have a couple of them in your inventory if your base is lower level, right? Have like two in your base and two in your inventory. That way you're gathering and they're going to help you gather. You get overburdened, all the resources start dropping to the ground, they're going to be carrying for you. So once again, I can't sing its praises enough. It's just super helpful. Coming in at number two is Ike the Deer, right? This is, I know I said that probably wrong, but this is going to be my second recommendation for a pal that you're going to want to capture as soon as you can because he just offers so much as well, right? If we go ahead and look at the pal deck and see where he spawns like everywhere, right? It's more of just if you don't see him, kill a bunch of stuff, and chances are he will spawn. Or you can just go ahead and run up and down the beach. I believe that's how the spawn works in this, that once you run off screen from the creatures, a lot of them will go ahead and spawn differently, right? But the reason why this guy is so good is not only is he your first mount, he has a rather cool ability that you're going to see right here. He can trample mobs, right? Not only can he trample mobs, you're able to throw pal spheres off his back. This makes grinding early EXP significantly faster because not only can you grind EXP, you can grind resources hella fast just by grouping stuff up and repeatedly trampling it, right? So, on top of that, he's like I said, your first mount. On top of that, he is going to be your first level 2 gatherer, right? He has level 2 lumbering. The reason why this is so good is because he's going to help you get wood significantly faster than you normally would. All you have to normally would. All you would have to do is go build one of these as soon as I can find it. Yeah, a logging site, right? And he's just going to sit there and go to town. And that's if you're not using him as a mount, right? So once again, just a pal that's like super quality of life, where not only does it make your natural running speed faster, you're able to go ahead and use it to tackle small pals. Actually, I think it can tackle most size pals, right? No, I guess it is just small. Which I mean, a large majority of the pals that you're going to be encountering early on are going to be in this small variety. So you're going to be able to trample them no problem, right? So once again, it's great for grinding resources. It's great for travel. It's great for getting logs. Because prior to the Icon Deer, you don't really have a pal that's going to be able to gather wood for you effectively, right? So this is essentially what I was mentioning, right? You just go ahead, you line them all up, and then you just fucking you throw the pal spheres, and it just makes it significantly. Oh, see, there's a couple of them that spawned right there. Super helpful. And then yeah, it helps you gather materials, it helps you get EXP, it helps you do everything, right? And that is why he is coming in at my number 2. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Tomat. He's a pal that you're able to find exclusively at night, but pretty much everywhere. Right? He's over here, he's here, like he's over here. He gets around, right? And the reason why this guy is so good in my opinion is not only is he decently strong, he has some relatively good abilities. So if we go ahead and take a look, he has transporting 2, gathering 2, and mining 2, right? On top of that, he does have an ability where he's able to locate nearby pals, and he is my go-to for pretty much early game mining and gathering, right? You just get a couple of these and they are going to be significantly better than your little Cativa, because where your Cativa has a lot of things at level 1, the Tombat has pretty much majority of those same stats at level 2, right? The only thing that he does not do is he does not do handiwork, so you will still want to go ahead and have a Cativa or two at your base that's doing like automation if you don't have a higher level pal to do that for you. But he's just super cool in design, in my opinion, as well. So the fact that he is so useful, he transports, he mines, he gathers, he's so good that he is incredible. Once again, he's only number 3 because of the fact that he only spawns at night, and you can only encounter him, I want to say, at like level 10 and 12, right? So he is a higher level, like the Icon Deer, not like the Cativa where you can see a bunch of level 1 and 2 ones. These only come at like level 10 plus. So that's why they're 2 and 3 and not number 1. Even though they're more useful technically, they are a higher level requirement. Up next is Staraptor. I mean, Nightwing. Nightwing is the first flying mount that we have access to. Oh, by the way, that was obviously a joke. I guess I have to specify because there's a whole bunch of fucking drama going on right now. It's so stupid, dude. But yeah, so Nightwing is going to be the first flying pal that you have access to, right? You're able to find him pretty much in the same starting zone, same as Tombat and the Ike the Deer, right? And he is going to spawn in at pretty much the same level. I think the lowest level is 10, where you're going to see him pretty much at the bottom half of this little starting island almost. I guess it wouldn't be an island because it's connected, but the starting zone, I guess, is the way I'll phrase it, right? And the reason why he makes the list is pretty much exclusively because he is the first flying mount. I know how everyone else on the list so far has had like multiple abilities, right? Like Kativa, he does literally everything. The same with Tomat, pretty much does everything. And then you have Ike the Deer, which is lumbering too, your first riding mount. You're able to transfer. I'm sorry, not transfer, trample smaller pals to, and you're able to throw uh, pal balls off of his back, right? As opposed to the Nightwing, you can't, right? Oh, I guess you can. Um, I guess you can. I guess I've never actually tried. So they have that in common. And he's just your first flying mount. It's going to make it easy to get to, I guess, places where you can't get with Eikthyr as easily. But all in all, he's going to be like the lowest overall ranked creature on the list, just because of the fact that all he does is give you the ability to fly, and that's literally it, right? Like everyone else on the list does so much more, but he's your first flying mount. So he is going to be a pal that you want to capture because flying is helpful, even if he does fly slower than the base speed, right? Up next, we have Cellar Ray, right? And these are just going to be a little bit further down from this starting zone, right? It's literally not that far away. And these guys spawn pretty much on the majority of coast and beaches, right? Let's go to his PAL deck entry. So as you can see, anywhere where there's like a coast, these guys spawn, right? Anywhere where there's a beach, you're going to be able to find them. And the reason why I like this guy is not only does it replace your glider super early on, giving you a substantially better glider, it goes ahead and he has some useful abilities as well. So he already does more than the Nightwing. If you had to choose between Nightwing and Cellar Ray for like having someone in your party, I would say Cellar Ray because the glider is just significantly better than the flying, right? Because all you have to go ahead and do is go to the top of any kind of ridge, and then when you jump off, you're going to be able to not only go pretty much further, but slightly faster than you do with the Nightwing. Obviously, it's gliding and it's not flying, so you don't have as much control, but I still think it's just better. On top of that, he has watering and transporting. So once again, he just does more than the Nightwing. Watering is going to go ahead and help you get your crops up and running, and transporting, once again, is going to help you move items, right? So he's a glider, he's a transporter, and he is going to be a easy water, right? The reason why I like him over these little pingolets is because I can fly with him on top of everything else that he does. Up next is this little guy, Vixie, right? This is a pal that is going to help expedite your journey towards the mid game significantly, right? I'm going to go ahead and run back to my base and show you what they do, but they're going to be around here, right? And you're going to want to get at least 3 or 4 of these because of their special ability. Okay, we made it back, and this is what these little guys do. It doesn't specify it directly, but if you go ahead and you take a look at their entry, let me actually go over here. If you go ahead and you take a look at their entry, you're going to see that it says dig here level 1. Sometimes digs up items from the ground when assigned to the ranch. Now it says just items, right? But these are going to exclusively dig up 3 things. They're going to be digging up pal spheres, they're going to be digging up arrows, and they're going to be digging up gold coins. All three of these are extremely helpful and extremely useful throughout the entirety of the game. So I went ahead and I emptied this, right? And by the time I got back, I had 49 more spheres and 78 coins and I think like 18 arrows, right? But the most important thing is the spheres. The fact that these dig up house spheres at such a rapid rate, it's insane. You're going to want to have three of these or four of these, how many ever can actually fit in a ranch going at all times, because of the fact that I literally just ran down to here and I ran back and you saw the amount of, oh, look, they're already doing it again. The amount of house spheres that they dig up for you. If you don't, and you just craft the POW spheres on your own, right? You don't take advantage of this and you're crafting your own POW spheres. Let's see how much of a resource sink that's going to be. So, do I actually even have a Pokeball station? I do. It's an automated one. It's over here. Um, if we go ahead and we take a look, it shows Paldean fragments, wood, and stone, right? So I literally got the equivalent of hundreds of wood, stone, and pretty much 100 Paldean fragments super easy. And early on, gathering resources sucks a little bit, right? So the fact that you're able to just go AFK and come back to a bunch of pal spheres, which you want to capture pretty much every pal, because not only does it give you resources, it's going to give you EXP, right? So you're going to want to capture majority of pals you find. If it's for the base initial reason of completing the pal deck, or for later on with breeding and or the condenser, right? You're going to want to have multiple copies of them anyways. So it's just a super good, super helpful pal that you can get early on. That's going to save you so much time and grinding, because you don't have to make the base pal spheres when you have these. You're going to be able to just farm hundreds, if not thousands of them while you're just playing the game. You can have a setup like this, like I was mentioning. And this is the main reason why this combination came into play. It's the reason why Cativa is so good, and it's a reason why these little guys are so good. You set up a ranch, you put down a box, and then you go fuck off. You do whatever you want, and you come back, and these guys will probably have 50, 100. Look, in that little bit of time that I was gone, already 6 additional power spheres, 7 additional. So you just get so many power spheres from these guys. They're just so good. And then that brings us to pretty much the last guy, right? The elephant in the room, so to speak. This beautiful bastard right here, Pin King. This guy is just so helpful. So remember how I was giving the Cativa all of the praise for everything that he does? Well, Pin King does essentially the same thing, but better. Let's go ahead and grab his little dex entry. He has level 2 handiwork, level 2 mining, level 2 watering, level 2 cooling, level 2 transporting, and he is super easy to find, right? He has a boss arena right here at level 15, and there's a teleporter right here, and you can just get one every hour. I believe he is somewhere else on the map. Yeah, down here to an area I haven't been yet. But this guy is just so good. He does so much, and he's literally just an upgrade to Cativa, right? Because he does pretty much everything that Cativa does, but at level 2 instead of at level 1. Oh, and super quickly, I guess a pseudo honorable mention is going to be Lift Monk, and that is going to be for multiple reasons as well. I personally haven't been using him or like him as much as a lot of other people do. I think I progressed past his viability without really noticing him, because he's kind of off to the side, right? If we go ahead and see where you actually can find him, it's going to be kind of like an awkward spot. It's essentially over, let me see, where are we right now? We're facing this way. You can find him essentially over there, right? Apart from over there, I'm trying to think of another area that it shows. I mean, I guess on your way to Pin King, right, you're going to be able to go ahead and maybe find one or a few. And the reason why is I believe they have a naturally higher attack stat, but on top of that, they get the ability of using a submachine gun. So they are apparently decent DPS. They have planting, handiwork, lumbering, medicine production, and gathering. So once again, it's just a pal that has a super ton of abilities. So overall useful there. In my natural progression, all the other pals that I mentioned, right? I found them naturally progressing, just running through the world. I didn't have to go look for them. This guy I didn't find until later on. I think I found him at like level 27. And right now I'm level 32, right? So I think I only have one, right? So it's he was off to the side. He wasn't easy for me to find, and everything else that I listed was just so much easier for me to find and obtain that that's why they were on the list. But he is going to be the last mention because you can get him under level 20 and he does have a ton of useful abilities. You can use him for combat and apparently he's super strong if you go ahead and just, I don't know, condense them or breed them until they have a good attack stat. I don't know. I've seen a couple of things like they're a really good attacker, but yeah, he's just going to come in last on the list because he's out of the way. And his main viability apparently comes in when you're using the condenser or you're breeding because you want him to have a lot of good stats that boost his attack before he really comes online as viable. So that's why, once again, everything else had a higher place, but he is still an honorable mention. And that's pretty much it. A little list of 8 or 9 pals that you can find under level 20 that are significantly helpful in getting you to mid game. If it's generating items, if it's automating, if it's your ability to fly and or glide, or it's just base movement speed with a super handy quality of life of being able to trample down creatures, right? And all of these can get better once you get to mid and late game because you're going to have access to the condenser and breeding, which is going to go ahead and just make these naturally better. So if we go ahead and look at my Ike the Deer, as you can see, Guardian of the Forest level 2. It's an enhanced version because I smashed 4 deer into 1. But yeah, I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. I think it's already like a 20 some minute video. So I do apologize. I'm going to work on formatting these a lot better in the near future. But this just came to mind, right, with what I was doing. And I'm like, you know what? Since right now there's 1.2 million players on Palworld or something like that, I figured that a large majority would be under level 20 and in that early game. So I'd spit out a video to go ahead and assist you progress into that later game because the entry level of the game is pseudo grindy before you get everything up and running. It does take a little while, be it resource gathering or just grinding for EXP. So the more you're able to automate that process, in my opinion, the better. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to end the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And to stay up to date for future videos, I'm ending now. Okay, bye.